is not tight enough. We got to get people back in their shitty fucking jobs. We got to crack that whip, bring down inflation, get that Volcker summoning circle going again in the Federal Reserve. We're gonna deal with this inflation problem. And like I said, yeah, Jimmy Carter, he cast that mold for everything the Democratic Party has done since then. Well,
the difference between him though and Brandon is that after his one term, Carter went on to build homes for the homeless and win a Nobel Prize and write thoughtfully about his role in American history.
Be the only American politician.
Exactly. Whereas Brandon, as soon as he finishes his one term, is just going to get in his dad's car and drive directly off of a ravine.
Brandon
like in the cartoon we just watched. That's going to happen.
Brandon is going to the kiln of the first flame.
Well, Georgia, it's not just Democrats who have set the mold for everyone who comes after them. The Republicans too, and we got to talk about my boy Newt Gingrich.
Honestly, one of the most consequential figures in American political history, like top 5. Very impressive.
Okay.
He rode the wave.
We got to talk about just how much swag Newt has in this photo here. He's perching his hand on top of his paunch, his gut. He's rocking the shades, he's got like a little grin on, but he's presiding over a plate that is a deconstructed cheeseburger.
I don't think it's deconstructed.
You can make fun of that, but I gotta say, that plate looks really good.
No, it's not deconstructed. They ordered it without the bun.
Okay,
that's
well,
the alpha way.
That's the Donald Trump way to eat.
That's how Trump does it.
Yeah. That's how Donald Trump. He will live to be 110 years old. Because here's a little secret, folks. McDonald's is actually good for you if you throw out the buns.
It's true. It's just like if you get Taco Bell gorditas and you put chopped up red peppers on them, they're healthy for you. You get the deal.
So we all know Newt Gingrich's role as, being like a sort of like the engine of the moral majority, Republicans taking back Congress, like the sort of nemesis of Bill Clinton. But here's a lesser known thing about Newt Gingrich. Obviously people like Republicans, they're reactionaries, they're very much looking to the past, and they don't like new things, they don't like changes. Newt, despite the fact that he's been a lifelong Republican, he's definitely a right-wing guy, but as far as Republicans go, he is actually a futurist. And no, but by that I mean he is obsessed with futurism and wacky ideas about the way in which technology will make the world a better place. He was obsessed with this guy named Alvin Toffler, who wrote a book called Future Shock, which a lot of people credit with predicting the shift from an industrial to an information economy.
Anybody got an extension cord?
Newt's draining the energy out of us all tonight.
He's sitting there, he's eating the juice and going, delicious.
So this is it's just like a little sample here of Newt Gingrich's obsession with futurism. So there we go. All right, let's go. Back in the game.
Like a NASCAR pit crew.
So Newt Gingrich wrote a book that borrows heavily from Future Shock, and in it he gushes about the possibility of new strains of wheat that will function as legumes.
Ooh.
In Future Shock, the Toffler, so it's Alvin and his what? Yeah. This is of a particular interest to Newt Gingrich. In Future Shock, the Tofflers float the idea that adolescence is on the way out the door, writing, children who at 12 are no longer childlike. Adults who are at 50 are children of 12. In Newt Gingrich's book, he writes, it is conceivable that at our grandchildren's time, adolescence will become a thing of the past. Leisure time and dramatically different social norms, adults would have a marriage career allowing for at least 3 different stages. Incidentally, the number of marriages that Gingrich has had. He writes, It is natural, the inevitable outgrowth of the social order in which automobiles are rented, dolls traded in, and dresses discarded after one-time use. It is the mainstreaming marriage pattern of tomorrow. Rules against polygamy might become relaxed, and open relationships might even be encouraged. The old male fantasy of the captain's paradise may become a reality for some.
Well, it is, you know, a sacrifice required for the future of the human race.
To go with this segment, we have a picture of Newt in Second Life.
So yeah, this is when Newt, he loves being on the computer. And in 2007, he says he entered the digital world of Second Life, and in the form of his avatar, delivered a lecture on the steps of the U.S. Capitol and praised the digital world as a parallel country that could enable us to build a new and better America. That's funny, because that's 2007, and that shit looks better than the metaverse.
Yeah. You know, Newt's in there right now. Newt is in the metaverse. As soon as they announced it, as soon as their first, the demo video happened, he just swan dived into like the Minority Report vat so that he could hook into a fucking Matrix node and immediately live entirely in the fucking metaverse. He's there now. He's never leaving. He's always been there.
Yeah. He is the Neo of the metaverse now.
Yes.
This is my favorite wacky Newt idea about the future, though. He proposed that, quote, a mirror system in space could provide the light equivalent of many full moons, so there would be no need for nighttime lighting on highways. Ambient light covering entire areas could reduce the current danger of criminals lurking in darkness. Mirrors could be arranged to light given metropolitan areas only during particular periods, so there would be darkness late at night for sleeping. Oh, how nice. There'd be darkness a few hours a night for sleeping, but there'd be ambient light so everyone could work and be free from criminals lurking in shadowed spaces. And all it will take is a mirror the size of Antarctica in orbit around the planet. But, you know, one last thing about Newt. You know, he has very forward-thinking ideas about marriage and relationships. But I gotta say, his current relationship, I live for it. Newt and Callista Gingrich are my. I cyber stalk Callista Gingrich. So like, let's just go through her.
I was just gonna pull up a still image of her for this part, but Will would have gotten too sprung on stage. It would have distracted him.
I loved her work in the Black Hole Sun video.
Oh yeah, this is one last wacky Gingrich idea that I love. Gingrich caused a major stir on the 2012 campaign trail with his suggestion that the U.S. should overhaul child labor laws and let failing schools replace janitors with students. He said, quote, I tried for years to have a very simple model, Gingrich said during a speech at Harvard last month. These schools should get rid of unionized janitors, have one master janitor, pay local students to take care of the school. The kids would actually do the work. They'd have cash. They'd have pride in the schools. They'd begin the process of rising.
I got an idea. Replace the faculty, have the students teach each other. They teach each other for class credit, and then nobody has to get paid.
I think, knowing what I know about schools and growing up, the student janitor would be the most respected kid by the other kid. He would be the most popular kid in school, the student janitor.
All right, Georgia, well, like we said, we talked about Jimmy Carter, an American president from Georgia. Okay, let's talk about the next president of the United States from Georgia.
Talk about sprung. Don't you hate it when the crazy ones are hot?
Get used to it now, because she's going to be repping Georgia as the president of the unincorporated zone of the eastern United States in 2050.
She will be the first empress of the Buckhead Autonomous Zone.
Now, Marjorie's been
She
in
looks
the-
like one of the real monsters.
I didn't come up with this. Someone said that she looked. I have not got it out of my head since I read it, but someone said she looked like Ron Perlman from the Beauty and the Beast TV show.
It's uncanny.
It's uncanny. So now Marjorie has been in the news as of late because you well know CPAC is going on right now. But Marjorie, she did a little double dipping because she went to CPAC and then Nazi CPAC. She went to Nick Fuentes' America First Political Action Committee. And it's funny to be like, because we've been to CPAC, and the idea that there's a Nazi CPAC as well seems a little superfluous.
Yeah,
It's a hat on a hat.
yeah. I mean, yeah, like Will said, we've been to CPAC. I've spoken at America First PAC. And it's crazy to see her also do that.
But of course, like, I mean, MTG, I think, honestly, like, she represents the future of this country because I think really the definitive power block that will shape the coming decades of American life are absolutely insane white women.
Women who have been thrown out of everywhere. Women who, if you drive by a Best Buy, they're like, oh, you don't even want to get me started on the manager there. They were not activated before. They were not political entities. Something about Trump spoke to them, and now they are the force that will carry us into the future.
My favorite fact about Marjorie Taylor Greene, though, is that according to the Daily Mail, she openly cheated on her husband of 25 years with a polyamorous tantric guru and then moved on to another affair with the manager at her gym. When approached by the Daily Mail, the tantric guru said, I have no interest in talking about anything to do with that woman. Everything with her comes to no good. According to the Daily Mail, insiders say she was so brazen about her affairs, they believed her marriage was on the rocks, but it appears the couple has put into infidelity behind them. Thank God for that. But in response to DailyMail.com's request for comment, Taylor Greene said it was another attempt to smear my name because I'm the biggest threat to the Democrats' socialist agenda.
Agree.
Also, looks like a foot with eyes.
All right, Chris, can we play that MTG campaign ad?
Yeah, before we move on, I've been staring at this photo and I do like the quality of it, that it looks like a prescriptions med ad where she's like starts shooting the gun and then turns to you and is like, have you ever been shooting your automatic rifle and IBS starts up? That happens to me as well. All right, here's the next one. Woo!
Joe Biden to abandon Americans in Afghanistan.
God, it's like
13
you
of our
underestimate
best
how
soldiers
awful her
killed,
voice is.
gave a
Awful.
kill
Oh,
list
God.
of Americans to the Taliban, an armed and Islamic terrorist nation with $83 billion in weapons like this one. Biden should be impeached. Now I'm doing a gun giveaway of my own, but for Americans only. I want you to win this .50 caliber rifle that Democrats will ban if they keep the House next year. While Joe Biden broke America's pledge to never leave a man behind, Nancy Pelosi is sneaking the Green New Deal into the $3.5 trillion budget. And in 2022, I'm going to blow away the Democrat socialist agenda.
Let's go. It's a Prius. She's shooting a Prius. Target destroyed.
Go to the website below and sign up to win my .50 caliber gun before Joe Biden bans it.
I fucking love that the carb just blows up.
She's got my
What,
vote.
you say that you say a 50 caliber rifle round wouldn't do that to a car? What do you know? You don't know about guns. No, I like in that video she said Joe Biden he let 13 of our best soldiers die, And I like that because it implies like if they were like kind of shitty soldiers, it would be okay.
Honestly, yes. If our 13 best soldiers just got blown up like that, we're fucked.
Yeah, how good could they be?
So that's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Believe me when I say, folks, the future belongs to her.
Oh, indeed.
And then last but not least on our rundown of amazing women from Georgia, Kelly Loeffler.
I have a special affection for Kelly Loeffler because I don't consider her like truly yours. Kelly Loeffler has a flat affect, a base unlikability, and just an offness of human interaction that gives her away as a native Illinoisan.
I don't know. I think she's really great on The Real Housewives of Cobb County.
I mean, I don't have too much about Kelly Loeffler other than I think she is the richest senator in U.S. history, and that her husband owns the company that runs the New York Stock Exchange. And wouldn't you know it, a day after receiving a briefing on the COVID pandemic, sold $18.7 million worth of stock in companies that, wouldn't you know it, were very vulnerable to a global pandemic. But don't worry, the investigation found she did nothing wrong. And it wasn't just her. I mean, it was Dianne Feinstein, too.
Yeah, the official report said, stop pocket watching.
Was it her where the campaign ad was in huge block letters, cleared of any wrongdoing?
Yeah. No, that was the other guy.
Oh, you're right. That was the other
David
loser
Perdue
from
in
here.
the same election. How did they lose?
They ran like Democrats. I loved watching it. It was hilarious, but I don't know. I hope she'll be back. I follow her on every social media platform. I like her because like no one was down for her. No one was like a Kelly Loeffler fan. You know, you liked her, you voted for her because Trump was like, hey, vote for Kelly, she's great. But no one's really into her. She has the least charisma out of any Republican in the Senate, I think. But I hope she comes back.
All right, that does it for our Hateful Eight from the past, present, and future of the great state of Georgia.